What does this mean?
Yeah.
Help. Good job.
Hi, Addie. Welcome to our podcast today. It is so nice to have you on.
Hi, thank you for having me.
And let's get right into it. We can't wait to hear about your journey into motherhood. So share with us the moment you found out you were going to be a mom and how it changed your perspective on life.
Okay, so I am generally like a super nervous person. So obviously, as soon as I found out, we were so excited. Me and Brady, we had our suspicions, but I was also convinced for a while. Like I just had a feeling that I was never going to be able to become a mom. So as soon as I found out I was pregnant, obviously I was so shocked, but like super excited at the same time. And technically, since I was growing a child inside of me, his heart was still in my body, but it really feels like I know that he's here and obviously he's a toddler now, but it's literally like your heart is growing outside of your body. So I just instantly wanted to do everything I could to protect him, even though I've never met him yet. And I just had so much love for this tiny baby growing inside of me. It felt like such an honor to become a mom, and he's just changed our life for the better ever since. So it's just totally flipped my perspective on life around as to what's important and what really doesn't matter. So just everything in general with his health, his safety has become my number one concern ever since having him.
You know, motherhood definitely transforms you inside out. I think it is the end of a persona that you used to be and the start of a completely different identity. And of course, part of that identity is finding a different purpose, perhaps outside of motherhood. Is that what inspired you to start social media, since you are this phenomenal influencer within the parenting space? And how about you highlight your journey as a mom as well as Rustin's growth that led to this inspiration towards social media?
Yeah, so my whole life I've loved taking pictures, taking videos, just like the artsy side of photography. So I'd always looked up to influencers, and I thought it would be so awesome and so cool to be like that, but I never actually thought it would be possible for me. Not because like I couldn't do it, but I was just like, there's no way I'm gonna be noticed like that. And then I just took a leap of faith and I started posting my videos one day, and they started performing well. Now, this wasn't instant either. I had many different accounts. I had gone through different ideas. I love making art. I tried doing some art, but the whole parenting thing came really easy and natural to me. And obviously Rustin, everybody loves Rustin, which who can blame them? But he's the best, but yeah, so I didn't really expect anything to come out of it. It was just like a little hobby for me. Even if they weren't getting views or doing well, I still really had fun just making videos, editing them, and just being creative with it. So it was like kind of a different form of art to me. So yeah, that's kind of how we got started on that. But yeah, it's been such a blessing ever since.
And it's important to highlight, right? It's not, you only see the good parts and the positives and the success in the public eye, but you mentioned it took a while. There were different accounts, and so there is the steady growth and momentum, and of course ups and downs as an influencer that come in that journey. So challenges and triumphs. Let's talk about being a mom, especially in the public eye. Of course, comes with a unique set of challenges. How would you balance your public life and personal life and public expectations?
Yeah, so if we're having an off day, I just definitely make sure I'm not trying to film or like pressure myself into getting content out there, because at the end of the day, we know that our health and our happiness is the most important. So if it feels like I'm trying to pressure us into making a video or getting good content out there, then I just need to take a step back and like remind myself that not everything is what it seems on social media, and that my life and our present right here is the most important thing to be focused on. Like with that being said though, it is definitely hard. We get some negative comments here and there, but we also like me and Brady and I really just try to tell each other that we're doing what's best for us. Like if somebody said he's a bad dad, I'm like, okay, we know you're not a bad dad, and everybody just needs to remind themselves like not everything is what you see on social media. Not that there's anything that makes him seem like a bad dad, but just people taking things the wrong way, blowing things out of proportion. Sometimes that's a side effect of just being on social media, which is definitely a struggle sometimes. But for the most part, our audience is super great and super positive. But with that being said, it definitely does have some struggles.
Yeah, of course. It's not, it's a partnership. And so you being out there in the public eye definitely means it's not just Rustin, it's your husband. And mental health is so important to have that resilience when you're a public figure. And then there's that career hustle and managing the chaos.
Yeah.
So from a twin boy mom to a boy mom,
Yes.
I know I have really found it challenging in certain ways to make some sort of a method out of the madness and continue doing what I like, what I believe in it, and have the mental strength to grow Miss Poppins as a mission-based startup. I'd love to hear what advice you have to manage things amongst the chaos and make time for yourself as well amidst the parenting hustle.
Yeah, so I think as soon as Rustin was born, I kind of accepted that I needed to be really selfless, but he's also super great with if I need to get something done and spends time for myself. He just sits there and he's so good, and he just likes hanging out with me. So he makes it really easy for me to get things done. And also that brings me to how I think it's so important to make him feel included as part of, so if I need to get the dishes done, I'm like, here, Rustin, can you put this in the dishwasher for me? So it does take a lot to get things done, and it is definitely much slower, but I also think it's kind of killing two birds with one stone. He's learning, he's gaining those skills to start helping me. But at the same time, I'm also being productive and getting what I need to do done around the house. And also Brady is such a big help with how I can get things done too. Just managing our time. He always is there to help. He's the most helpful, and him and Rustin are the best together. They have so much fun. So if I really need to get something done, Brady's always there for me, and he always has my back.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, can you recall a particular moment where all of these challenges have made motherhood worth it with Brady and Rustin's help, or maybe a time for audience where you truly felt the impact of your journey on your child's life, perhaps?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this, and it just happened the other day. My mom came over, and he loves his grandma so much. And you know that I've been teaching him signs and trying to get him to talk and communicate. As soon as she walked in the door, he went, "Happy together." And I was like, oh my gosh, it literally melted my heart. My mom almost started crying. I was like, I think that's implementing such a good just outlook for him to have on life, is that he should be happy with his family and feel safe with us. As soon as she walked in the door, he said, "Happy together." And I was so proud, but also just wanted to cry, because I was like, he knows what happy means. He knows what together means. He just put so many things together all at once, which made me feel wow, he's definitely catching on. I'm not doing so bad after all.
Every day is a challenge. I think you can't help but wonder, are we all failing as parents, failing as mothers? Are we doing enough, right? That constant mom guilt. And then these moments where just keep at it, and it's almost like a linear curve, but it's up and down, up and down. So we're obviously focusing on the down part, but when you connect the dots, it's still going upwards trajectory. That's important. And the fruits of the labor, like this moment, definitely come at the child's pace.
Yes,
of course.
Yes.
And so with the wisdom you've gained, what heartfelt advice do you have for new moms embarking on this very journey?
I would just say to do what's best for you and your family. There's going to be so many different opinions, even if you're not in the public eye, just on how you should raise your kid, how other people have done it. But you know what's best for you and your family. Parenting styles can be so different from one household to another. So I think it's just really important to stick with what you believe. And if it's not the same as somebody else, definitely just do what's best. Every child is so different. Every parent is so different. We've gotten a lot of comments about how we co-sleep, but if we didn't co-sleep, we would be getting no sleep. So I think that we are as safe as possible about it. But if you didn't want me raging through the house sleep deprived, that's what we have to do. If another mom doesn't co-sleep, I would never like judge her based on her decisions.
Right.
But I just think it's super important to keep in mind, like, not to feel guilty about what you're doing, because at the end of the day, if you look at it, you're doing what's best for you and your family, and that's the most important thing.
Yes, I don't think there is a right or wrong way to have a parenting style. Like you said, there's different parenting styles. It's good to be educated and aware and have tips and pointers of what could work potentially. But at the end of the day, it's truly you who determines how and why you want to raise your child a particular way. So 100% with you on that, whether it's sleep coaching or co-sleeping, right?
Yes,
Whether it's breastfeeding or bottle feeding, it's a matter of personal choice. So, of course, let's focus a little bit on Rustin as well. It looks like his lovely age of about a year and a half, he's going through the no phase chronicles, as we say it, and then both of you are navigating it beautifully as a toddlerhood comes into play. So with him saying no phase, and then of course I've been dealing with that. The twins are 3.5 years old. We have double the fun with this, and I'm sure you're having your fun in terms of developmental life milestones and behavior milestones. So can you share some funny memories on how you handle these assertive toddler moments, and have you recorded any of that content for the viewers as well?
Yes. So I would say he is definitely struggling with keeping his hands to himself. And I'm really trying to teach him. He doesn't feel comfortable around like other kids. Like he's super cool with other children. So he's never had a problem with that. But as soon as we started teaching him like how to fist bump and how to high five, he thinks he can just walk up to his grandma and just punch her and say boom, and because he thinks it's a fist bump, which is super funny. But at the same time, it comes with, how do I teach him what's right and what's wrong? Yes, especially for a toddler who thinks, oh, well, you guys taught me to give fist bumps. Like, can't I just do that all the time, or like to any part of the body, or when somebody's not looking? So it's funny, and it's fun to watch. But at the same time, it's like, how do we teach him he can't do that certain times, but he can other times, And especially with Brady, he likes to roughhouse with Rustin a lot. They have so much fun playing, jumping on the bed, and then he thinks he can just do that like in the grocery store. So I'm like, it's very difficult to figure out how to implement, you can't do that here, but you can do that here. And it must be so confusing for him too, because he doesn't hardly know a lot at this age. But yeah, it's definitely a challenge sometimes.
But I think it's also a phase, and they learn eventually as they go out to preschool, and teachers and other influential folks in their life teach them boundaries, including parents themselves. My funny story is I love playing like basketball with things like I'm throwing the sock in the laundry basket, or I am literally throwing the toys in the basket, and I make the goal pretty easily. And I used to just do that to be taking a shortcut, not realizing the twins are seeing me throw things, not organizing it the way I'm organizing it in my head by putting it away in a basket. But they are visualizing me throwing things. And it started a phase of throwing, just randomly throwing things all around. And I didn't even realize what was happening. So I was blaming all these external factors until one day our au pair, our nanny, told us, well, you do this. So they are obviously mirroring you. So it's a lot on us, Addie, to correct ourselves.
It is. They notice more than we could ever imagine too. There's been a couple moments where Rustin does something that Brady does or that I do, and I'm like, wow, he really is picking up on things. So it's like, you don't feel like you have eyes on you all the time because they're just so little and they're just a little toddler. But you really do. Like, they're constantly watching and observing and soaking in every single movement.
I agree. And then obviously these are the fun phases, but then there's the bigger issue around values, right? Value system of what do we want to relate to our toddlers, to our family, and how do we want them to develop into this wonderful human being. So of course, we have all of these fun moments and phases, but then there are kind of the serious issues also we always want to address as parents, and what experiences do we want them to remember. So what have you thought in terms of the values and experiences you're excited to share with him as he grows up? And
so a big thing for me is I want him to be in a place where he's valued and respected. If anybody ever makes him feel otherwise, I don't want him to disrespect them, but I want him to I guess just politely remove himself from the situation. I don't want him to feel like he has to be pressured into having relationships with certain people because of the titles they have to him. I just really want him to feel loved and respected everywhere he goes. And also want him to be super respectful. I want him to be the son that anybody can trust him around. I want parents to feel comfortable letting their children be around him. I just want him to be a safe place. And I think that we're doing a good job because I think he feels super safe around us. We try to not, we have the whole gentle parent style. So I think he's going to be really comfortable, like talking, sharing his emotions. At least that's what I hope we're doing with this whole gentle parenting. But I think growing up, feeling so safe around me and Brady, which is what we try to do constantly 24/7, I think that he will also be a safe place for other people and other children. I just want him to be the most respectful little man ever. He already is super respectful. He said, "Thank you, Mommy," whenever I set his plate of food down, or "I love you, Mommy," before bed. And so it's just very rewarding to hear that, and reassuring kind of that we are doing the right thing in how we raise him. Those values are ones that I want him to have. But another thing I want to implement in his life is to love nature. I really, really want to spend as much time with him outside. It's just so calming and freeing. And I think that has a lot to do with me as a person. I love to be outside and it makes me feel calm and relaxed. And I always just try to stay calm and relaxed no matter the situation. So we do spend a lot of time outside. It's still cold out. The winter's been terrible because he's been cooped up inside. But even Rustin, he'll just go outside and he'll be completely different if he's having a tantrum inside. I'll take him outside and he's instantly, "Oh, let me go explore this. Let me see how this works." And it's just it's a good outlet to have. And I really want him to grow up feeling like he can just go outside and let all his worries go. So I hope that's something he learns from me.
Okay, of course. I think that's a wonderful way to think about changing the environment when you are not at the desired behavior, and then at the same time teaching them something new, that like a skill that's going to be with them forever. Let's talk a little bit about you. How do you find balance between work-life harmony? How do you find balance between being Rustin's mom and what you want to do with your personal growth, career goals, and of course, self-care and everything, being in the public eye, balance in multiple different areas?
Yeah, so I just try my best to spend my free time being as productive as possible. So obviously having a toddler, you don't get tons of free time, but if he's down for a nap or if he's playing outside with Brady, I try to think, what can I do to make today the most productive as possible? Whether it's emptying the dishwasher one day or doing my skincare routine another day, I think balance is super important. It's never the same. We never have the same routine every day. I think you probably can relate to that just because toddlers are so unpredictable. But I try to balance how I'm feeling with what needs to be done. So if I'm feeling gross one day, then I think, hey, maybe I should spend today focusing on myself. If I see the house is dirty, but I'm like, okay, yesterday was a good day for me. Today I'm going to focus on getting the house clean or whatever it is. I just try to really balance what needs done versus how I'm feeling every day.
That's so beautiful, Addie. I always tell some of the leaders, right? There's three things that a mom tries to achieve every day. There's self-care, there's family, and then there's work. Self-care could be friends, gym, wellness, anything of that. But I think in a given day, you could do 2 out of those 3 really well, but the
Yes.
third is always almost overlooked. And
Yes.
it's interesting that you've taken the approach of blending how you feel with how you want the other 2 or other 3 or 4 in your life to be balanced. So I think it's great. Start with yourself, understand how you think you're doing, how you're feeling, and then day by day, take it every day, one day at a time. You can focus on priorities. Well, that was lovely. Thank you so much for diving into the realities of being an influencer, a mom, and saying so many things with honesty, love, and a touch of humor. So good to have you on the episode. Thanks for being with us today.